Welcome to the Updates Area channel. And now more than 40 Senate Republicans have just vowed to oppose a deal on raising the debt ceiling if there are no spending reductions. Their actions could have an impact on millions of Americans in a variety of ways, including delayed Social Security payments, late paychecks for federal employees, and hardships for veterans. Today, all but 6 Republicans vowed to oppose raising the debt limit without making spending reductions. In a letter to Chuck Schumer, the group of Republican senators led by Mike Lavuto stated that they are united behind the House Republican Conference in support of spending cuts and structural budget reform as a starting point for negotiations on the debt ceiling. Substantive spending and budget reforms are strengthening the position of the House McCarthy on this. Letter highlights deep rift over how to avoid default in Washington. Republicans have consistently opposed raising the debt ceiling and have advocated for spending cuts instead. The White House has maintained that it will not negotiate on the issue. Senators like Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski have convinced the Republicans in the chamber to oppose raising the debt ceiling. The U.S. debt ceiling run the risk of causing a disaster similar to the one that occurred in 2008. Our economy is in free decline owing to unsustainable fiscal practices, and the trend must be addressed with a fiscal reform. Additionally, recent Treasury predictions have emphasized how urgent it is to address the debt ceiling. That they will not be voting against any bill that raised the debt ceiling with meaningful spending and budget reforms. But the White House has already responded to their statement accusing the Republican senators of putting the livelihood of 1 million Americans at risk. As a result, even the White House secretary took reporters on a tour at a time when the Republican senators were raising the debt ceiling. Nation just reported unprecedented employment growth. You need to be aware of the Constitution's requirement to pay bills and refrain from unilaterally inflicting a recession on the country. There is no time for the senators to withdraw their support for averting the default without restrictions during the previous president's administration. According to reports, Joe Biden will discuss this with Kevin McCarthy in person. And discuss this in an effort to reduce American demand and contain inflation. Powell made it clear in the speech that further rate increases are coming, further dampening hopes for a gentle landing. Powell also noted that in order to reduce inflation, extended periods of below-trend growth are likely to be necessary. Additionally, there will likely be some softening of labor market conditions. Despite the massive imbalance between labor supply and demand, government data released last week showed that the U.S. was still boasting about 2 job openings for every available worker, highlighting just how tight the labor market has become and raising the possibility of an even deeper recession. In order to push the fight against inflation, which she claimed was hurting lower-income Americans the most, the rates are around 3.7%, just a little above the 5-ticket low since before the crisis. If enough companies lay off workers to bolster their balance sheets, however, the drive then eliminates sharply higher, which will result in more interest rate increases in keeping rates. The majority of respondents currently claim that price hikes are making it difficult for households to make ends meet, and up to 49% in January and 45% in November. Millions of people will see a reduction in their monthly benefit payments. Democrats and Republicans are urged to support an early plan that would increase monthly payments for the child tax credit. New food and security data released by the U.S. Department of Agriculture today provided the latest proof that the enhanced child tax credit and other relief programs passed in the first 2 years of the crisis significantly helped millions of people to support their families. A proposal has also been made that would send 350 checks each month to eligible Americans. Families struggled to make ends meet last year, and now that much of the aid has been taken away, households are once more having trouble making ends meet. According to the agency's annual report on food security, 1 in 10 homes, or 13.5 million households, did not have enough food in 2021. Overall food insecurity also increased for older people. Americans. The research claims that from 2020 to 2021, families with children under the age of 18 and households with children experienced a drop in the prevalence of food insecurity. Congress will soon enact a new stimulus bill. Republican members are now being seen by Joe Manchin in an effort to secure their support for President Biden's funding plan. We have a ton of good news to share, including the fact that most people in Colorado are qualified to receive 400 to 800 stimulus checks, so keep watching to learn more. Now, many people will be receiving an $100 team, Let's check very soon, so you want to keep watching this video to never miss out on the crucial stimulus check information. According to the 1992 passage of the Taxpayer Bill of Rights, checks from the state government. The majority of full-time residents have already done the necessary actions to have their checks shipped to them this summer by submitting their 2021 state income tax returns. But those who haven't may still claim and make sure they get checks by filling out the form. Many residents, many of whom are veterans and seniors, do not routinely file state income tax returns, and they have questions about their eligibility. The short answer is that if you are a full-time employee, you are still qualified to receive the foreign law check for single filers and the $800 for drawing filers. According to Colorado Governor Jared Polis, even if a taxpayer has little to no tax liability, filing a return ensures that any excess withholding taxes will be reimbursed. Additionally, they may qualify for significant refundable state and federal credits like the Earned Income Credit and the Child Tax Credit. Children's tax credit. The same criteria apply to those in Colorado who apply for and receive benefits. If you like the show, please don't forget to subscribe and turn on bell notification. And like the video. Thanks for watching.